You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
All right, into hour number 3. Your phone calls coming up. A lot of other news. I want to get into the cloning. Aaron finished the special report this morning, but it's in high def, so it's not encoding quickly. Who knows if we'll be able to air it before the show ends today. If not, it'll be premiered tomorrow. But going back to Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, it's admitted that the multinationals use the U.S. for their muscle. What are they planning to do once they fully sucked the United States dry and totally bankrupted us? What are they, I guess, as Ron Paul said, they're going to lean on nuclear weapons. At a certain point, they are destroying their own command base, Dr. Roberts, with this deindustrialization you talked about.
That's right. It's short run. They're thinking short run. Most CEOs are only there a few years. It's not a lifetime job. They're there a few years, generally just before retirement age, and they use the opportunity to maximize their short-run incomes, their short-term incomes. And then they retire with multi-millions and are comfortable. And that way of running a country is not the way the Chinese and Japanese run their country. And so we're losing out, and there's nothing that can be done about it given the structure of the incentives. But to get back to where we were before your break, let me say something that's unequivocal. The debt ceiling crisis is of no real consequence compared to the offshoring of the American jobs and to the financial deregulation. Unless the financial deregulation is largely reversed, and unless something can be done not just to stop the offshoring of jobs, but to bring back the millions that have been offshored, there's no possibility of the United States being able to continue the kinds of expenditures that it's used to. It can't have wars at all. It can't have a military security complex at all. It may not be able to have any old age retirement pensions or Medicare or Medicaid or just about anything else, because it's destroying the tax base of the country. And so unless they pay attention and re-regulate, and they need to put back in place everything they took out, and unless they find some way to bring those jobs back and to stop the hemorrhaging of jobs, which, as you pointed out, they are continuing now with the Korean Free Trade Agreement. This is insanity. Unless they stop this, the whole game is up. That's simply a fact. This is not a partisan statement. It's not a hysterical statement. It's not an opinion. It's a simple fact.
Doctor, what's the time frame in closing? I know you don't want to put exact times on it, but you said 3 years ago during the 2008, you said no. 2, 3, 4 years out is when I'd have to guesstimate the real collapse, Alex. These things take longer, and I think you've been proven right. But here we are 3 years later. Are we a lot closer to 2 minutes to midnight?
Yes, we are. Look, the other day, the U.S. dollar hit yet another new low against the Swiss franc. 1 U.S. super dollar is equal to 80 Swiss cents. When I was a young man, a dollar was worth 420 Swiss cents. Today, 80. This collapse has been accelerating during this year. Look at the price of gold and silver. Look at the increased criticism of the United States from foreign governments, as you pointed out, China itself. So I think the acceleration of the collapse is underway.
Sure, we've only got 20 seconds. So what's the time frame to where, because they're now admitting we're really in a depression more and more. Are you talking about another year? How long until it's really evident?
I think by the end of the year, we'll realize we're in a deeper recession. I don't know what hysterical responses that would call.
All right. Dr. Roberts, thank you so much for spending time with us. We'll be right back. Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As they're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones. I'm looking for people that have the wisdom to spot savings, opportunity, and recognize risk. Saving means to make money. The Cal-Ben Pure Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated and twice as good as what you're using now. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils that contain no useless dyes, perfumes, deodorants, or antibacterials. Your risk is the hundreds of hazardous toxic detergents that give you rashes, itching sores, and deteriorating clothing called lint. If you want something better, if you want something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. Getting a free catalog is easy by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com. Take charge of your health now by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now, new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Brent, Sarah, Carl, Thomas, Preston, we're going to get to all your calls and more. Also, coming up, I have the Genesis talk show host coming on that are suing Rachel Maddow for claiming that they were saying kill gay people, which they never said, and they told MSNBC this and showed them proof, and they didn't stop. And, that's the kind of stuff that's going to happen to MSNBC when they willfully and knowingly try to hurt people just for fun. It's one thing if you say something and you're proven wrong, but it wasn't on purpose. But when you do it with malice of forethought, with intent to do harm, you will be found liable in the courts. And we're going to be having those guys pop in towards the end of the broadcast. And by the way, I'm going to have to go into overdrive today. For the radio audience, you'll be able to go to Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com at 4 or 5 o'clock today and see this big special report. And I'll be able to give you the name of the report soon. But I don't want to give it out until the article's up. But we're going to premiere it for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers. We're just going to keep the radio show going for another 30 minutes into the next hour, but it won't be on your local AM and FM dial. It'll just be PrisonPlanet.tv only and the audio streams because we've taken the last 2-3 days to put this together, and it's really a big issue, and it needs to get out there. And so we're going to premiere it to the PrisonPlanet.tv folks when we go into overdrive. Now, by the end of the show, if it isn't done in coding, these computers drive me insane. Sometimes a 15-minute presentation might take 30 minutes to encode because it's high def. Sometimes it might take 3 hours, and it's been doing that today. It's been encoding since about 10 o'clock this morning, so I thought we'd be able to premiere it in this hour. But for radio listeners, you'll be able to, after the show later today, we'll put it up on the YouTube channel first, but we're going to put it on prisonplanet.tv first coming up, and this deals with human clones. And the governments have kept secret. Now they admit they've been splicing them with animals for at least 15 years that I know about. Well, they admitted 15 years ago they were doing it, 5 years before, so 20. And Aaron, because he knows I'll rant information out, and then in these research pieces, he then has to take keywords that I say. Because a lot of times when I do a special presentation, I'll sit down for 20 minutes, search keywords of articles I know I've read over the years. I'll find 5 or 6 of hundreds I've seen. I'll walk off, shoot the presentation, hand it to Aaron, and then it's always worse than when I say on the video. And he's like, we might have to reshoot this, Alex. They're admitting cloned humans in artificial wombs in the 70s, and there's photos of them in Time Life books, and they admit eugenics, and they admit that the government's going to take control of the entire reproductive cycle and basically sterilize everybody with chemicals, and then you'll have to go to the government to be able to get reproductive stuff done, and you'll pay to have your genetics taken and spliced with your wife. That's how they have like embryos now being made in England out of 3 different people, 2 men, 1 woman, and it's all trendy and transhuman. So they destroy our capability to have children with chemicals, and they come in with their genetic engineering system, and then we buy into it. They're masters of this because it's a total, ruthless, scorched earth policy. And I really can't even do justice to this. Aaron did a 8.5-minute analysis of the piece that's coming out later today at Infowars.com. It's GM human-animal hybrids emerging market for organs, babies, and big pharma. And his report shows a lot of the research that's going to go into this big report coming out later in the day. And sometimes when it encodes for 4 or 5 hours, it just shuts down and says didn't encode. So we think it'll be airing next hour. I can't even guarantee that. But I've been building this up for the last few days because we need to say this is important. Out of all the other crazy things happening, this is what's important. Like Dr. Roberts just agreed with the Communist Chinese and Ron Paul and with Nobel Prize-winning economist. The debt ceiling is a debate about deck chairs on the Titanic. The ship is on its side, about to go under. We've been maneuvered into this position. They've got Northcom and the military ready and executive orders for financial martial law. They've already stolen the pension funds, public and private. They've already stolen the military's pension funds. That's why they're now telling you you're not going to get anything. And right now they're just training us to raise taxes, cut benefits, gut things further, pay everything to the bankers so they can buy up all the commodities and all the real estate and all the defense companies. And they don't need us anymore. They don't need an economy. The globalists constantly talk about, well, they have 5 kids and private jets and, billion-dollar estates, about how we're scum and how they want to kill us. And the psychopaths have created this eugenics cosmology to really incorporate and give structure just to their psychopathic power-tripping ways. And we are in a red-level emergency. A red-level emergency. I wish I was wrong, but everything the globalists said they would do in white papers, written 100 years ago, 70 years ago, 25 years ago, 5 years ago, everything they say they do, from poison in the water supply to GMO that sterilizes you to vaccines laced with cancer viruses, they've done it. And we just muddle through, doubling in cancer the last decade, doubling of diabetes. I mean, they're murdering us hardcore. And they're running around with our blood all over their hands. They're shifting the terror apparatus from Muslims to the other populations, as I told you they do. And they're getting ready to start blowing things up and shooting up shopping malls. And then you'll know why the telescreens are up saying, watch your neighbor. I mean, they are about to hammer us hard. You think they'd carry out all these crimes without a plan? You think they would ship guns to Mexico and to gangs in Miami to control the drug trade? I mean, the big banks launder drug money publicly and don't get in trouble. They are going for broke. They are coming on down. They are overrunning us. They are bum rushing us. They're dropping the hammer, and you can't get in a fetal position and think they're going to walk over you. Just like the people at that island with the globalist killer, you know, cowering and hoping he wouldn't kill them. They'd have done better to, you know, hide behind a rock and, you know, run up behind him. And you know, at least if he's going to shoot you, get your adrenaline going. Believe me, you turn your adrenaline on,